Hello everybody. This video is kind of a twofer tonight. This is for two different customers. I'm going to just do in one video. And I would also like to discuss a little bit about the Mk5s that are already left to be installed. Still left to be installed. First off, this is the original Mk5, the very first one made. This is the prototype, which was my personal that I sold. And the customer then commissioned me to install it. This pommel insert is permanently installed as to where the others were removable with a ring C-clip. But the pommel does screw off, it's just the insert. And then this is a Mk5 from my first run, which this customer has waited quite a while for me to install this, and I greatly appreciate his patience. So on this is your activation button. Right here is your auxiliary button. On these, I'll start with this. If you take it apart right here, you can have some quick, well, kind of quick, but easy access to your charge port and SD card while keeping your chassis still supported with some of this. That's kind of what I recommend doing. And we'll get into the chassis a little bit. This is a CFX install. I did update to version 1.004D, I guess it is, something like that. NeoPixel, of course. All right, so these chassis, they are plastic. I just want to point that out. I paint them up and try to hide wires and make them look nice just so that when you're in there, you feel good about what you own. They're still not comparable to, you know, some of these other great chassis that are out there and these chassis makers. It is what it is. I just want to point that out. Now, the crystal chamber is metal. I do get those in metal because, you know, to me, that's what's going to be shown. You know, I feel like if it's on display, it's going to be, you know, kind of displayed like this, not out. That's just my opinion. But I do want to make clear that, you know, these are plastic. They're held on with little 16th inch smooth rods. Now the rods, I brad the end of it and put them through from behind into this chassis adapter, and I hammer them in there. Getting tongue twisted. I hammer them in there so they are not coming out. I mean, you'd have to do some messing around to get them out. These plastic pieces all just slides onto these smooth rods, and then they're held in place with glue. So, you know, it's only as strong as the smooth rod and glue will allow it to be as far as sliding apart. It's supported well inside of the Saber, so when you're using it, you don't really have to worry about it. But when you have it out, don't be grabbing it like this. You know, just try to take care with it. Now, if it does ever come apart a little bit, this is what I've had the best luck with. It's thin enough to get down in there, and it's fairly strong. I've tried some different glues, and this is just the one that I prefer. There might be better out there, but whatever. So you know, if the glue does crack apart a little bit and you start seeing a gap somewhere, just go ahead and spread it apart a little bit more, just to go ahead and get a drop of glue to run down in there onto where the rod is. And then grab it here and compress it back together while the glue's drying. Easy fix. Do not put glue back here. The furthest back that I put glue is here. And that's because of the removable speaker, which we will get into in a little bit. Now, again, the chassis is just painted up. I do that as just an extra bonus, just to make the best of what I got, and, you know, just to make it something that you can be a little bit proud of when you're in there goofing around, charging it up or getting your SD card. This is the paint that I use. Deep bronze matte metallic. This is flat metallic. This is not the gloss metallic. I do not like the way that looks. The stuff you can get at most hobby craft stores. Michael's, I think, is where I got this. It's really good on plastic. Thin it down, put your little drop in something, thin it down with some water, stir it up with a toothpick or whatever, and you can just get a drop on your finger and rub it wherever you need to touch up a little bit. You don't have to put this stuff on heavy. I do not paint this stuff heavy. I'm a believer in taking advantage of what you've got. I like the porous material of this chassis. So I get it in black on purpose instead of white, so that I can put this on light over top of it to get that kind of aged bronze look that I like. While not perfect, I think it does well. Let me go ahead and get this one open too. So I did try to keep these pretty much the same install. You'll see a few different minor things that I take liberties with, but you can see, you know, I did the same, hiding the wires on both. Everything's in the same order, same paint scheme. So this is how I will be doing all of the Mark 5s that I have left to do, which I believe I have 5 of them left. Now on the SD access, you might have already seen my post, but I have a pin put through here that I have an O-ring hooked to, and it stretches all the way across here and holds this on to another pin that's through the bottom of the speaker holder. Just pull this off just enough to get past that rod, and then go down and to the left. That is your best access. You can see right there, you can get to your SD card and your USB port. Easy peasy. When you're putting it back on, get that bottom hole lined up, come up here and get your top one, push it on there, you're good to go. Please try not to stretch that out no further than you have to. I mean, I use a good O-ring, but I don't know how long it will last. I think it would last a while if you take care of it and do it just how I just did it. If that O-ring breaks, the board would have to be pretty much be uninstalled to get that to hook up again. So please don't break it. Please take care of it. Or you'd have to go back to the old-fashioned way of just using a removable glue to hold your speaker on, so you can then get SD access after that. On these, I did use the printed crystal from Goth 3D. Couple reasons. One, because of the size and space that I have in here. Because the battery's coming all the way up. My battery connection, the pixel LED I have in here for the crystal. Plus, it has a lip on it to hold it in there. If I tried to fit a real crystal in here, it'd be nothing but a shelf queen. It'd probably end up coming out and you'd have no crystal. So, you know, on this small one, I just felt like it's better to use the printed crystal. And that's what I'll be doing on the others. They both have the same. As far as setup on these, as far as your functionality, I didn't do much. I did the basics to get it the way you need it, make sure everything works. I set up my sound font on here. I'm not doing all the crazy blade styles. I'm just not into it, and I really just don't have the time or the desire to fool with all these crazy blade styles. I did load Plector's PDF on here so that you can have easy access to the manual. And there is the CFX group on Facebook that you can go to with questions there when you're setting it up. Or if you message me, I'll be glad to try to help you with it. But believe me, I'm not the most knowledgeable on setting up blades. Robert Saltemeyer is probably one of those guys. But you can find him in Universal Lightsaber Community or in the CFX Facebook group. Others there too. Plenty of guys will help you out. I'm just not into it enough to, and plus I have way too much other work to be doing to mess with all these blade styles. But I did get you set up. I have it set up right now for a 32-inch blade. If you get a 36-inch blade, you'll have to bump the number up to match your blade length, and I'm gladly help you with that. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there. So, just go ahead and see the crystal. Now you notice the first time I hit the button on this one, it didn't immediately come on. That is because I have a sound, I forget what it's called, I can't think right now. But I have some music in this fonts folder, and when the music is there, you have to hold it just a little bit longer because it's detecting that there, and it's waiting to see if you're going to do a quick double tap to play the music in the background. If you find that irritating, just hide that folder, rename it or whatever, and then it'll do the quicker power on. Get these back together. And I do appreciate everybody's patience on the work I do. I know I'm not the fastest in the business. I try to be certain that I give you something that will last and that you can be happy with, though. I do look at these as if I don't want to own it myself, I shouldn't sell it to you. So you do have two blade set screws on here. These were the older blade plugs, which were shorter, so I extended them with Delrin and have the connector, the pixel lit up right there. These are, I use Space Windows pixels on those. Now this one was my original, and the blade holder is just a little bit snug on this one. That's the way I like making mine, but it's still an easy fit when you just give it a little twist. trying to get it a little short there. There you go. Little Conan Barbarian soundtrack on there for you. Battery level, which I really appreciate that, Earth Collector. That is a nice feature, so you can just do a quick check on your battery. Tap again, it'll cut off. But yeah, that's about it, guys. These are ready to go out. I did test these a lot. I do test a lot. I keep them for several days after I'm done playing with them, beating them on a few things, going through a few charges, letting them sit and make sure there's no weird drainage going on anywhere. I do, you know, if I bought one of these, I'd expect to get it and it worked good when I got it. I don't, you know, so I don't want you guys to have to go through any trouble. But these have tested out great. No issues whatsoever. Sound good, work good. So anyways, guys, that's about it. Hope you enjoyed the video, and may the force be with you.